This is how to add breadcrumb schema to the website. And I'm just going to log into Sierra Interactive, and then I'm going to pick on a current page and then just click edit. I'm going to do the top page and then all of the child pages underneath. So for example, I pick St. Catherine's, and then here, after we created all the content, we created all of these other labels, and then we created all of the neighborhoods as well. So we're just going to focus on adding the breadcrumbs to these specific neighborhoods instead of adding it to everything. There is a limit to how many breadcrumbs that actually show. For example, here are the breadcrumbs right here, right? So this is just 3, depending on, I've seen it up to 6. It just depends on how big the name is, and Google just kind of does what it wants to do. We're just, again, giving it the data. I'll see if on the second page if there's any more breadcrumbs. But I wanted to give you an example of what schema actually does inside of the search result. It actually adds the links. So we want to add this link, these links here, to get more traffic or to send more visitors, and at the same time take up more of the search result, bringing more attention to the page. So that's important. Also, if you see images off to the right, that is also done by schema. So schema does do a whole lot in the search result, not just it's not just code that just doesn't do anything. It actually changes the way that Google shows your website in the result. So back to this page. So I'm going to go to St. Catherine's and then hit edit. With our services, we may have already added schema. So if you scroll down to the very bottom where we add it, if there is a blank page content label, then it's added, and or we may stuff it at the end of a content label. But typically in doing this process, I want the schema to be a totally separate content section. So I'm going to go to content area, and then I'm just going to type in schema. And then I'm going to label this breadcrumbs, if I could spell right. So then here is the breadcrumb schema that we're adding to this page. Can you have article schema and breadcrumb schema and review schema all in the same section? You can. Just make sure that it all validates. And again, we always have to validate schema. So I'm going to click here under HTML, and then I'm going to copy all of the code in and then paste it in. And before I get into editing this code, I'm just going to hit update and then save and view. Part of the issues with Sierra site is that Sierra automatically does breadcrumb schema as well. So I've already created the page, I've saved it. Now I'm going to go to the validator, which is just validate schema, and then you'll come to the schema markup validator. It doesn't matter what tool you use. I tend to use this one because it's the standard. And then I'm going to copy the URL into the validator and then hit run test. Now, if done correctly, you'll see breadcrumb schema, and you'll see that it doesn't have any errors. Okay, so on a listing detailed page, Sierra is automatically going to do a bit of schema for you. So the real estate schema, and this is the information about that page, the YouTube channel, social media links, all of this stuff, the days of the week. This business information schema, which is added automatically. Event, this is the open house section of the listings on the page. And then this can go on ad nauseum depending on if there are a lot of open houses or virtual tours or anything that's an event. And then breadcrumb, you will see 2 of them here. You will see Sierra's breadcrumb, which they automatically do this, so you don't have to, and then you will see my breadcrumb, which has a lot more information. We don't want to fight with Sierra on whose breadcrumb is more important. Mine is, and the reason why I say that is because this is just a general, it's good to have something here for SEO, so we're going to put something rather than a full custom breadcrumb list, which gives the opportunity in the search result for you to communicate what links you want them to actually go to instead of just your homepage. So how do we prevent that fighting? One, we scroll all the way up to the top, and then you will see hide breadcrumbs, and you want to hit yes to hide breadcrumbs, and then hit continue. Now, when we rerun the test, the extra breadcrumb will automatically be removed. Okay, so now that the schema loads, and I'm getting an error every time that I do this, I kind of don't know what what's going on. So that'll be a little bit more research. It might just be the real estate agent one, or there's another schema on the page that causes it. However, everything everything validates. There are no errors, there are no warnings, and there's just one item. So on the breadcrumb list now, you will see that all of the pages that I want to have in the breadcrumbs that are listed, and we'll go from there. And I'm doing 12. 12 again is a lot. I would say just do 3 or 4, but again, we're doing an entire community in all of the sub neighborhoods, so I might as well put them all in. Now let's go to editing the code. The code here is really, really simple if you just understand what you're looking at. So there's a lot of it that you can ignore and some that you can't. So the position, number one, is the starting page of the breadcrumb. So in other words, it's the page inside of the search result. So if I click on here, this is the number one position. It's that page. This is 2, this is 3, this is 4. It's pretty simple to understand. So how do we adjust that going across the other areas of the website? So for example, if we want to use the same breadcrumb list and we want to add it to all of the pages, then typically the only thing we have to do is we have to change the position per each one of them. And yes, they don't have to be in order. It's obviously easier if it is in order, but if we wanted to change downtown St. Catharines to position 1, we would just change this to 1 and this to 2 and then just move on. Typically what I would do is I would move this to the end, 12, and then I would change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would change the rest of them so that they are all different. If you really want the St. Catharines, the parent page, to be there, then I would typically just change this to 2 and then change this to 1. The only thing that you have to be aware of is how it lays out on the page. So there's the downtown St. Catharines homes for sale, which takes up a lot of space like they're doing right here and will be truncated. That's okay, but just understand that if you have shortened words, then you can go, you will list a little bit more. So it may be important to just remove the homes for sale off of every single one of them, and then you'll have more links inside of your breadcrumb. It's the only thing that you really need to understand is that the position needs to be in order from 1 to how many you want. The title needs to be short and sweet, and then the URL has to be there. And that's pretty much it. The rest of the breadcrumb stuff is pretty easy. What I specifically did is I went to the area page, and I'll go to a different one so that you can see how quickly I did this, is I'm going to click on Lincoln and then scroll down and look for the Lincoln neighborhoods. We'll just do property types. And then what I'm doing, I'll do the pre-construction, is I'm holding down Control on my keyboard and then clicking on all the links. What you'll see at the very top here is that these pages open in new tabs. I'm, again, continually holding the Control key. And now I have all of the pages that I want to use for my breadcrumbs, and then I just go to each page, highlight the URL, and then paste it into the notepad. Where's my notepad? There it is. Here's the notepad, and then just paste in the URL, and then in between the quotes, paste it in, and then change it to 88 James. Really simple, and then make sure that your list items are correct. When you are done with all of your code and you put it on your page, the final thing to do is go to the schema validator and to make sure that it validates that there are no errors. If there are errors, then your pages will be not de-indexed, it either won't listen to them or it'll just cause more issues in Search Console, which is what we don't want to have. So that's how to add breadcrumbs to your pages. It's really, really simple. Just validate the code when you're done. Have a good day.